Good morning, children. Today, let us see the different kinds of proteins that are associated with the cell membrane. So, two types of proteins are associated with the cell membrane basing on the ease of extraction. How easily we can extract the protein out. Basing on that, we have peripheral proteins. These peripheral proteins can be attached to the inner membrane or the outer membrane of phospholipid. These peripheral proteins can be knocked out, taken out very easily. So they are known as peripheral proteins. But there are some proteins which were completely intact, bound between the bilayer, and those proteins are known as integral proteins. Integrity, integral, they became the part of the phospholipid bilayer. These integral proteins, again, if they are completely bounded in the phospholipid layer, we call them as complete integral proteins. And there are some integral proteins which are partially bounded. So they are partial integral proteins. So we have two types of proteins basing on the ease of extraction. One is a peripheral protein and one is integral protein. Already we have seen about a phospholipid bilayer. So this phospholipid bilayer, lipid content is non-polar, whereas a phosphate head is a polar. So very small molecules can be allowed to pass through these phospholipid bilayer, or non-polar particles can be allowed. If it is any polarity, the lipid layer will not allow to pass through the plasma membrane. Larger molecules are not allowed to pass through the plasma membrane. Only very small molecules and gases like exchange of carbon dioxide, oxygen can occur by simple diffusion through the plasma membrane. Then how these large molecules are polar molecules and how these hydrophilic substances, how they are transported through the plasma membrane. That is, we have two different kinds of proteins. These proteins help in the transport of substances. One is protein channel and the other is carrier proteins. So in the cell membrane we have, outside the cell membrane we have extracellular space, inside we have intracellular space. If something has to be transported between extracellular to intracellular or intracellular to extracellular, we have protein channels. See the first one, it is a channel like which allow the substances to flow through it. This happens along the concentration gradient. So simple diffusion through the plasma membrane, it does not take the help of any protein. If the diffusion takes place with the help of a protein, we call this kind of diffusion as facilitated diffusion. So what is a facilitated diffusion? The passive movement of molecules across the plasma membrane by means of a transport protein located in the plasma membrane is known as facilitated diffusion. Simple diffusion, no need of any help of protein. If the diffusion takes place with the help of a protein, then we call it as facilitated diffusion. So the protein which is helping for facilitated diffusion is a protein channel. This also happens by simple passive transport. It does not require any energy and takes place along the concentration gradient, that is from higher concentration to lower concentration. And the second type is carrier protein. This carries some kinds of ions like sodium ion, Na+, K+, Cl-, Ca2+. They are charged proteins. So for the transport of these charged proteins, we have some specialized proteins known as carrier proteins. See, this is the carrier protein. a type of a protein that transports selected biomolecules. So they are very specific. If they transport sodium, we call it as a sodium pump channel, sodium pump carrier protein. If they are transporting potassium, we call it as a potassium pump. If they are transporting both sodium and potassium, we call it as sodium potassium pump. If it is transporting calcium, we call it as a calcium pump. In this way, the carrier proteins are very, very specific. They do not transport every kind of molecule on either side of the plasma membrane. They are very specific. That kind of proteins which transport specific proteins, specific molecules on either side of the plasma membrane is known as a carrier protein. Now let us see. This is in the first picture you can see a protein channel. A channel is present which is transporting the substances along the concentration gradient. So it is a passive transport which do not require ATP. In the second picture you can see a carrier protein. So from the extracellular fluid it is carrying one ligand. Ligand is an ion. So it is carrying one ligand and it is transporting to the intracellular fluid. So as soon as this carrier protein combines with a ligand, it undergoes some change in the structure. That change is known as conformational change. So from upside it turns downside. Like a tumbler, when it is placed up, it has water. When you reverse it, water is transported downward. In the same way, the carrier protein carries a specific ligand. As soon as the ligand binds to this specific protein, it undergoes a specific conformational change and transport this molecule from extracellular to intracellular or intracellular to extracellular. These carrier proteins, they can transport the substances against the concentration gradient. So to transport against the concentration gradient, we require ATP, and so we call it as active transport. So here we can see both the protein channel and carrier protein. Now here see. Here you can see all. So the purple color one below is a peripheral protein. Next one is the channel protein. Next one is the carrier protein. And then if the carrier protein is transporting only one kind of molecule, then we call that carrier protein as uniport. Uni is one. It is transporting only one kind of molecule, ligand, so it is known as uniport. And if the carrier protein is carrying two different molecules into the same side, then we call it as a symport. And if it is carrying two different molecules in two opposite directions, we call it as antiport. Now see, uniport, because it is carrying only one and it carries along the concentration gradient, it does not require any energy, so it is a passive process. Whereas a symport and antiport, they carry the ligands against the concentration gradient, so they are active transporters. This is a sodium potassium pump. See, on the extracellular side we have more number of sodium ions, and intracellular side we have more number of potassium ions. So from outside to inside it can be transported by passive transport. But what is happening? From inside, three ions of sodium are taken by this carrier protein and they were sent out. Towards that end, it undergoes a conformational change and they will be released out. Already sodium concentration is more outside, but still against the concentration gradient it is transporting, so it is an active transport. So it is traveling two different kinds of ions at the same time. This side sodium is ligated, whereas the other two are the protein phosphate place. potassium places, sorry children, potassium places. So this kind of carrier is known as a sodium potassium pump. We are using the energy, so we call it as a pump, active transport. Sodium potassium pump. Now you see here, you tell me what are they. So what is the first blue colored structure? That is integral protein. Next green colored on either side, it is peripheral protein. Third green color side on the upper one is partially integral protein, and yellow colored one is a channel protein. And now you can understand it clearly how this carrier protein. So the first one on the other side, from extracellular fluid, the ligand is coming and binding to this carrier protein. Carrier protein changed its shape in the second picture, and in the third picture it completely inverted itself to release that ligand to the other side of the plasma membrane. This kind of change in the shape is known as conformational change. This is about proteins. Now, like phospholipids, do proteins also exhibit this rotational movement, lateral movement, or flip-flop movement? For proteins can exhibit only lateral movement on only one side. It can exhibit the movement within the same leaflet, but proteins never exhibit flip-flop. From one side to another side, protein cannot be transported. They do not undergo flip-flop. Very important bit. So this is about protein movement, and the movement of proteins can be described as proteins are like icebergs floating on a sea of lipid. This phospholipid is a lipid, and proteins will be moving like icebergs on this sea of a phospholipid. So phospholipids are like a sea of lipids, and proteins which are present above that, they can move like icebergs. Icebergs slowly float on water. So in the same way, these proteins float on this sea of lipids. That is about proteins. Now the third one is, first we have completed phospholipid, next protein, next carbohydrate. The third component is carbohydrate. This, if the carbohydrate is attached to the lipid, see here, green colored structure is the carbohydrate. So you know about this phospholipid. If the carbohydrate is attached to the lipid, we call it as glycolipid. What do we call? Glycolipid. Then if the carbohydrate is attached to the protein, we call it as glycoprotein. One is glycolipid, which is attached to the lipid, and one is here, or to the pink colored structure you can find one more carbohydrate attached, that is glycoprotein. And in between these tails of this phospholipid bilayer, you can see brown colored structures. They are nothing but cholesterol. They are cholesterol, that is also a kind of lipid. So in this picture you can see phospholipids, peripheral protein, integral protein, glycolipid, phospholipid, and here you can see a carbohydrate attached to the protein, that is glycoprotein, and here and there in between the tails of phospholipids you can see the cholesterol. This is the actual composition of the plasma membrane, and the use of plasma membrane is for transportation of substances. Now say if water is moving from one side, extracellular space, to intracellular space, through the phospholipid bilayer, very little amount of water passes through, and this condition is known as osmosis. What is osmosis? Passage of water molecule, solvent molecule across the plasma membrane or semi-permeable membrane is known as osmosis. If water is passing through the channel, then water is transported through facilitated diffusion. So the channel which is carrying water is known as aquaporin. Aqua is water, pore. So the pore which is carrying water is known as aquaporin. Aquaporins are those specialized channels which carry water and transport water on either side. In this way, different substances are transported along the concentration gradient and opposite to the concentration gradient by the usage of many protein channels and carrier proteins. So we have seen the phospholipid bilayer, proteins and the carbohydrate part of the plasma membrane. Plasma membrane, if here you can see a carbohydrate attached to a protein, what do we call? We call it as a glycoprotein. If you remember the blood groups of humans, blood group A, blood group B, blood group C, blood group AB, blood group O, what is this blood group A? Antigen A, antibody, antigen B, they are nothing but glycoproteins, a carbohydrate attached to the protein. So these carbohydrates and proteins together, they are acting as antigens, antibodies, they are helping in transportation, and the cholesterol and this movement of the phospholipid bilayer, they are helping in the fluidity, that is for phagocytosis, pinocytosis, then cell signaling, that is transferring of information from one cell to another cell, that is known as cell signaling. All these are done by plasma membrane. So this is the structure and function of plasma membrane. If you have any doubts, please ask me. As soon as you listen to the video, please pass on a message that I understood, teacher, so that I can continue. Thank you, children.